Everyone wants more money, but most of us weren't taught how to create an abundant life. That's where the More Money Show comes in. If you're ready to have more money, create more freedom, and experience more fun, turn the volume up. It's time to learn how to create the prosperity and life you have been dreaming of. Here's your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of More Money. I'm here with Rebekah Zink, back for her third year of growth interview. I am super excited about this interview today. Welcome,
Yay.
Rebekah.
Thank you.
I always start with this. Tell me something awesome.
I just have so many opportunities that have come out of the woodwork, and like whether it's a cheap vacation or a possible new partnership with someone or more work. It's just I don't know. Yeah. It's just like everything. I know I said it last time. But like everything is awesome. Just like falls into place. So
it does, right?
It really does.
Yeah, it absolutely does. Yeah. I know the trust muscle is huge, right?
It's huge. It really is. It's like once you pull yourself out of your head and you can be like, no, it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. Like it's always fine.
Right. Yeah. How important has that been over the last month since you went full time on your own?
Oh, it's been so important. So I quit my job, my full-time job about 6 weeks ago to do my own company. And I definitely kind of went a little crazy with the freedom of time.
Yeah.
I wasn't working 70 hours a week, and I was able to, wake up when I wanted, and I didn't have to spend 5 hours on a Sunday meal prepping. And like, so I really fully took advantage of just like waking up when I wanted.
Yes.
But it did kind of get to the part where I felt lazy.
Yeah.
And like, then that's when I kind of lost that trust muscle, because it was like I was being really hard on myself and like I should be doing this, I need to be doing that, like whole thing. And I know on the Monday call I was like, I have all this stuff to do and like there's deadlines and I'm just not doing it. There's no reason, I just am not doing it. And you said like, well, I have no doubt that like you're gonna get it done because it has to get done.
Right.
And like that's exactly the kind of person I'm like, because it has to get done. But as soon as I like got into that flow, everything else just kind of fell into place. And it was like, oh yes, this is what that feels like.
Yes.
Like I was dragging myself down, and now here we are.
Yes. Right. Yeah. So this is now like 3 days later, and that big shift has happened. Like in the past in your life, how long would that shift have taken to like kind of come out of that?
I mean, it could honestly be anywhere from a week, a month to a year. Wow. Where it was, where I've been like in year-long ruts where it's just like it literally feels like everything is going wrong. Yeah. And like, I don't know how to like stop it. I don't know where to go. Like, it's just, I'm stuck. And so having it, 3 days is the fastest that's ever ever happened. Right? And then I'm like, oh, this can happen. It can happen in 3 days.
Yeah.
So that really helps reinforce the trust muscle, because going forward, if I ever feel that way again, it's like, okay, hold up. Yeah. Like, it doesn't need to be this way. And you're in control. Like, you're the person who's like making it happen this way. So stop. Just stop.
Right? It's so true. Yeah. I love that. And I think that's how we like even build the trust muscle faster, is like we go through those times and we know how to get out of things quicker. Mm-hmm. So like we see that trust, like we see what happens on the other side of trust so much faster, which just builds the muscle, right?
Yep, absolutely. And it kind of goes vice versa. Like as quickly and as easily as I can now trust to get out of something, I also recognize that I can fall just as easily into things, good and bad. Like all these amazing opportunities have been coming up and I've just kind of fallen into them. Where, and it's like, it was just as easy to fall into the bad stuff, but instead now I'm falling into the good stuff. So it's just, I don't know, it's just great.
That's amazing. That's huge. And it's so true, right? And I think that's something, I love that you said that, especially like, so our listeners can hear that, because I think some people feel like, well, you can always fall into bad, but you can absolutely, like when you start doing the work and you start changing who you are, falling into that good stuff, like becomes always, like it becomes inevitable, right?
Yeah. And it really is just like trusting and like I was almost overdrawn on my bank account. I had like $6 left, and I had money in savings, but because for every monthly statement period you only get like 6 transfers, I like reached my 6 transfer limit, and I'm halfway through the month. So it's like, oh crap, I have $6 left in my account. I didn't realize that my roommates owed me utilities, so I actually have like $60 in my
awesome,
and I'm owed money from someone, and they got the contract they needed to push along the money they need in order to pay me. And so like, it's like hundreds of dollars. So
that's
I'm
awesome.
just like, and it's just like, it just kind of like happened. Like we've been waiting on this contract for months.
Yes.
And here it just showed up yesterday. And so like, yeah. And so it's just amazing how, once you start trusting, everything writes itself.
Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
I'm like $6 in my bank account, but next week I'm probably gonna have closer to 1,000. Like,
yeah, like okay, I got it.
No problem. Yeah.
No big deal.
No big deal.
I love that. That's so awesome. So update us. I know you've been going on a lot of auditions. How does it feel to have the space for that again?
Oh my God, it's unbelievable. It's been really, really great. I love being on set. Some sets are better than other sets. Some are just like, you're a background in a big movie, or you're a background on a TV show, or you're like doing this like super low budget student film where people are still figuring out how to work a camera. So like every set is different from the next. Like one of the sets I was on a couple weeks ago, like it was a student film and we didn't get lunch, and it was from like 10 in the morning until like 5 in the afternoon. So like, I was starving. I was a little hangry, but like, it was so great because I made a really good friend on that set, and like I made those connections, and I was able to they screened the films, and so like I was able to go to the screening and like meet all these people, and it's just so nice to just like be able to do what I want to do, and not even just with auditioning, like in the spring, I co-wrote, directed, and started my own short film. Mm-hmm. And we got the rough cut back a couple weekends ago, and it is really, really good. Like everyone I've shown it to, they're like, wow, like I cannot believe you've never done this before. This is like really well done, even just for a rough cut. And so like, it's so nice to know that I have the time I need to put everything I want to behind this project of mine. That was like, it's really a personal project to me, and it means a lot. And now I can like, I'm already developing like a release and a publicity strategy for it, and I have the time to do that and really like see it take off. So it's just so nice. It's so freeing.
Yay!
So freeing, and it's like, this is what I wanted.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. What does it feel like to be in that moment where? I always like to share this with people and I like to hear the answer too. It's so awesome. But like, what does it feel like to be in the moment that's like, this is what I wanted?
It's kind of surreal, where it's like, I don't know, like I kind of have to like take a step back and be like, wow, like it's all happening.
Yeah.
Like it's all happening. Like everything that I've dreamt of, everything that I've worked towards, it's actually like all happening. And it's like, there's almost no words for it because it's just such an elation. Mm-hmm. And you're just kind of like, oh my God, I'm actually like rendered speechless that I was able to do this. And like, it's happening to me now, and it's going to keep happening. And like, it's just snowballs. So it's like,
it does.
It really, really does. And, sometimes I look back on like when I was in college, I was in school taking 22 credits and working full time. So I was like, mm-hmm. It was a lot. It was a lot. And like every year that happened, it was like a little less, a little less, a little less. And now I'm at the point where I've always wanted to be, where I'm working for myself. I'm auditioning all the time. I've gotten the last 5 auditions I've gone on, like just back to back to back to back. I created my own film. Like, it's just like, yes, I did a lot of work, and it would have been a lot easier if I'd had a different mindset at that time.
Right.
But like, because I worked so hard to get to where I'm at now, mm-hmm. and my mind has shifted, it's just like, it's never been easier.
I love that. It's never been easier. It's a great mantra. Never been easier.
It's never been easier. It's just like, it just falls. It just falls into place. And there are no words, because it's so exciting. And I'm always like, well, what's next?
Yes.
What's next? Because there's going to be a next. There has to be a next.
Absolutely.
So what's next?
Yes.
So it's just so exciting.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. So what's the biggest, I mean, do you think it's overall mindset shift? Like, because I totally get what you're saying. Like when you've put in the work and you're a really like hard worker, like this is the light I always like to share with like those of us that are super hard workers, because that it pays off even more when you get your mindset right? Right.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy because, I've had my company for a little over 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I started it after I went to this book conference and I was super inspired and I was just like, no, I can do this myself. And so I did it. And I was working full time and like commuting almost an hour each way to work. And like, I would be up at 5 to go to the gym. I would work from 8 to 7 o'clock at night. I would come home and then like immediately just start working on my company, and I'd be up until like 1 a.m, just like making sure everything was perfect, the website, the whole thing. So that's like how it started. But then once it was started, now I had this other thing I had to like breathe life into while I was working.
Right.
And so like it's just so it's so interesting because like if I'd had a different mindset, I feel like everything would have fallen into place a little bit faster and a little bit easier. And I can see that now because for the past 2 years, I've been like working crazy hours to make sure it survives while I'm also working a full-time job. But it's so crazy when I decided to change my mindset back in, January, February, and then I like fell into things with you in like February, March. It just like one right after the other, it just changed. And it actually has never been easier. And all that work I did at the time I needed to do it because of where my mindset was at. But as soon as I changed my mindset, I mean, within 4 months, I was out of my full-time job. And like, I have to remind myself of that sometimes, like you took 2 years building this company and you are out in 4 months.
Right. Yes.
And when you just have the math like that, it's like, well,
okay.
Right. I mean, numbers speak for themselves.
Right. Yeah. And what's the biggest shift you think, if there's, I mean, there might be not just one biggest, but that in that 4 months, like what's the mindset that changed, shifted, grew to, do that, 2 years and then 4 months?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of a little bit of everything. Like, especially like I'll go through periods where, this week it's definitely like my trust muscle. Like the past month, it's been like, where's my trust muscle? How do I find my trust muscle again? Where'd you go? And then like, as soon as I find it, everything's back in alignment. Other times it's just like not being as hard on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we really are all of our own worst critics, but like, I do think, especially if you are a hardworking person, you gravitate towards working hard, because I've always been a hard worker, and like I'm 24 and run my own thing. But I feel like especially people like that and creative types, like I'm also an actress, I'm also an artist, like we're really hard on ourselves. And like I'm a perfectionist. I remember being in 10th grade and like my mantra from my mom was, it's better to be happy, not perfect. Because like I had one mark wrong on my handwriting from my teacher. She's like, it's a little hard to read her handwriting, but and like it devastated me. I was like, I remember like crying in the car. And so I was 10. And so I do think I tend to be hard on myself. And so, that's really been an exercise I've had to learn with this whole mindset changing, is like, it's okay. It's okay. It's going to work out the way it needs to work out. You just need to let go. Stop trying to control it. Stop having attachment to that outcome. Just like, let it be, and it'll work out exactly the way it's supposed to. So I'm still like kind of working on that, but it's made a tremendous difference in just how I move through life, and like the people I allow into my life and the opportunities I take and things like that. Just like, just relax.
Right. Just relax. Which like sounds so easy. And yet there's like so much that like you got to undo and learn and step into and trust and all that things, like all those things go into that.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the undoing, like, you know, I'm pretty young. And so like, you know, I recognize that there are people who've been in their habits a whole lot longer than I've been in mine. And I can't even imagine how difficult that is for them, because like for me, I struggle. I absolutely struggle sometimes on just like taking a step back, reevaluating, like just relax. Like it's fine. This is not the story you need to be telling.
Yes.
This is not the story that is about you anymore. It's not who you are as a person anymore. Like we're not going there. So just stop. And like, I struggle with it, but like, I really give a lot of power to people who are older than me, who like, you know, I know a lot of adults who are just like, this is how they grew up and they struggle with like, but this is not how it should be, or this is not how it needs to be. Yeah. And so I feel very fortunate that like I've fallen into this so young, because I mean, it's going to dramatically change the course of my life. And I know that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Like, even from 2 years ago, like I'm a completely different person.
Yeah.
And it's,
which I love. Like once you, just once
people comment on it.
Yeah.
People comment all the time. Like, you know, oh, I, you know, you just seem like a different person. You seem so happy. You seem so like full, or like, you know, with the whole dating thing, cause I quit dating for 11 months. And then like, you know, I went through this tremendous shift, and I started, you know, launched my company, like the whole thing. And like, even the people that I'm, you know, are gravitating towards me, they're completely different kinds of people than they were a year ago or 6 months ago, friends or otherwise. And, you know, like my mom's commented on it. Like, it's so amazing to me to see the types of people that you're attracting, because like, you know, not only are, you know, these guys better for you, but these women friends are better for you, and like that kind of thing. And it's just refreshing to know that it's actually like, you know, like I can feel the change. And sometimes when you talk to people about it, they're like, you know, like they're like, what's it like? Juju type stuff. Yeah. But then when other people comment on it, you're like, oh yeah, it works. Yeah. It just works. Like, everything is great. Everything is awesome.
I love it. I love it. Yeah, it totally works. When you go through the process, when you do the work, right? Yeah, because it's not.
But you do have to do the work, and that's something that like you have to do. There's no way around it, and especially if you fall out of the work, the magic stops.
Yeah,
like it just does. And I'm sorry, guys, but like,
it does,
you
right?
Do the work.
Yeah, you have to do the work, and you have to keep doing the work, right? You're right. The magic, like it does. If you're not doing the work, you're not catching the stories. You're not. Like, you got to keep doing the work.
But like, what a small price to pay.
Exactly.
Like, I would rather do this kind of work like tenfold than like my regular work onefold. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I totally agree.
That whole like work smarter, not harder thing. Like, for me, this is working smarter.
Yeah.
Like, I feel great. I look great. I'm doing great things. I'm meeting great people. And like, this is all I have to do. Right. I wish I'd known this like 10 years ago.
Right? You'd have been a fierce 14-year-old if you had known all this at 14.
Oh my
I know,
God.
right? But it's amazing what,
Yeah, no, but like high school, forget about it. Right? They would not have been ready for it. Would have shown them all up.
Right? Oh man, I love it. Let's speaking of the work, like you've been working Manifest 10K, like let's talk about your list. And like I know something has showed up on your list.
Yes, it has. I have the opportunity to go to Montreal for stupid cheap, because all I have to pay for is transportation, but I live in New York, so round trip ticket is $160.
Awesome.
My friend is staying there for a month in like this huge mansion thing. And so, he's like, there's so many rooms, like come stay for a week. Like, it'll be great. I don't have to pay for lodging because it's provided for me. Yeah. So on my list, which now that I'm thinking about it, I've gotten most of the things on my list.
I love that.
But on my list, it was I had like, after we worked through the list a few times, I had this awkward amount of money of like it was something like $400, and I'm kind of like, I don't know what to do with this, because I don't want a lot of things. And like, it's hard to do like traveling and stuff for cheap. Like you can do it, but a lot of it is airfare. Like you have to, you know. So I just kind of threw it on there. Like, I want to travel more, so I'm gonna like challenge myself to do it for under $400. And so this trip just kind of like comes out of nowhere, and it's yeah, and it's just there. And his friend who lives in Montreal has a lake house like an hour outside of Montreal.
Amazing.
And so I know, and like I saw the pictures, and it's out of this world. And they're like, oh yeah, we'll probably go up for a few days, so you should come and we can all go up. And I'm like, okay, great. So I get a new city, a vacation in the country where there's like literally no cell service, and all I have to do is pay $160 for the train.
That's amazing. And it's like, it showed up, right? You asked for it. You're like, okay, $400 travel. And here it is. Like, and what happened? How did you feel when you realized? Because I know how there's like, you're like, oh, that's cool. And then all of a sudden there's a moment where you're like, oh wait, that was on my list, right?
Well, and it hit me kind of late because like I'd been kind of like, you know, as we talked in Kajabi and stuff, like I was kind of feeling like in a rut, and I was just like, I just need to go somewhere. Like I need to get out of this city. Like the city's kind of dragging me down. It's a hard place to be sometimes. And I'm just like, I need a change of pace. And about a year ago, I did my European trip. And so I was like, I just like need to get out.
Yeah.
And yeah, like, Montreal has been in the top, like we've been talking about Montreal for like 2 or 3 weeks now. And it hit me like 2 days ago, like, oh my God, oh my God, it works. Hey, wait, it works. Like this was on my list, and it's one of the last things on my list.
Yeah.
Like actually, I got my $200 cash. I got my Sephora gift card. I got my movie. Like everything was free. We had an amazing cinematographer. We have an amazing editor. We got a light kit. We got sound, like professional sound, for free.
Yes.
And now I got my trip for under $400. And there, you know, like there's some other things in there that I'm waiting on, but like,
yeah,
it's just wow. It's that speechless thing. Like, it's more just like a feeling of like, yes, like this is it, you know?
Yeah. It's when you know the magic is real, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh.
Okay. Yeah. It's like, thank you for showing me again, because I clearly need it every so often.
Right?
I forgot. Thank you.
We all do, right? Yeah.
And now I'm like, okay, yeah, what's next?
Yeah, I know. Isn't that awesome?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because we did go through the list a couple times, right? And I was, you know, probably said something to the effect of like, this isn't juicy, or it's not like, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't me.
Yeah. Say more about that.
Like, well, it was so interesting because like, I don't know. I'm a very like introverted person. I keep to myself a lot. And so it's like hard for me to like speak with other people or to, you know, receive critiques from other people and like that kind of thing. And like, you know, working in this kind of environment, like you have to open up, you have to be open. And so like, you know, this list, I was like, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know like what I was doing. And because like, I've always been so worried about other people. And so for me, it wasn't how this $10,000 can help me. It was how this $10,000 can help other people. Yeah. Which like, you know, in some aspect does help me. Like it removes some weight off my shoulders and stuff, but it wasn't about me. My first list was not about me. So like, so after you went through it a few times and you're like, well, what about this? And like, what do you want? And like things like that. It was like, well, yeah, actually I would like a Sephora gift card. Like I would love to just be able to go and spend money on makeup that'll last me 2 years. Yes. And like not have to think about it. You know, and just a trip, like a cheap trip. I love traveling. I love airports. They're one of my favorite places in the whole world. And like, I just love that like idea of being somewhere else and like meeting new people and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, no, that's what I want. I want to travel. Like, and so after like revisiting the list and like putting more of myself in it, it was like, okay, I get it. Like I get it now. And then, it was crazy because probably about a month after that, I was like, I just like need to start Manifest 10K completely over. Because like I'm a completely different person. And like, you know, like, yeah, I want some of this stuff on my list, but I would change it. I would change it. And like the way I went about some of the exercises, I would change it because like it changed me so much in a month that like I need to change it for me. Yes. And so now I'm just kind of like, I don't even know if like this activates my happy anymore. Like, you know, my manifesting because it's so different. And I am so much more open and like able to communicate.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's an experience.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It really is.
Yeah. How do you think like having to be open and like show up in a group and be like, okay, I might get critiqued on this. Like, how has that and you know, critiqued is always like a I know, right? It's like
word. Yeah.
yeah,
For lack of a better word.
like
Because we don't critique in the group, and that's something that's so amazing.
yeah.
Like everyone is so supportive. It's like half the time someone will be talking about something and someone else will like chat the whole group like, oh my God, I love you, you're amazing. You know, like everyone is so amazing.
Yes.
It's like actually like one of the highlights of my week. I'm like, yes, I got my call.
Yes. Right? Yeah.
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 But the critique, like for lack of a better word, it's more of a discussion.
Yeah, a discussion in like the depth and like you know, from a coaching standpoint, it's like, okay, we have to get to what you want, because I don't think it would have manifested as easy if we're just trying to like take care of all these outside things, right? Because it wouldn't activate your own juice inside and your own stuff.
And I think that like with my company, like that was a big part of it, because for me, my company was always like a means to an end, not the end itself. And so it was always like, well, once I have this, then I can have that. Once I have this, I can have that. Once I have this, I can have that. Instead of just being like, but what do you want? I want to act. That's what I want to do. And like, yeah, my company is a means to doing that. But also like, I love my company. I love my clients. Like I'm working with someone right now who does cozy mysteries, and I am so excited because I know it's so fun. It's like historical and like the whole thing.
Yeah.
And so like, yeah, and so I really do just love what I do, but I was so bogged down in the whole like, well, once I have this, then I can have that, which will help this person or this situation. It wasn't what I wanted. It just wasn't what I wanted. And like, yeah, I want that, but like that'll come after I focus on me.
Yes, right.
Like I hate to be like say you have to be selfish, but like, yeah, you gotta be selfish. It's that whole like air mask thing, like in the airplane, you have to put on your own air mask before you help anyone else. And like since switching my mindset to that, it's really like everyone I've wanted to help is now being more helped since I focused on myself than when I was trying to like manipulate the situation.
Right.
I was working too hard.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Because everything's easy now.
Everything is easy.
Yeah. I love that. And that's so true and so powerful. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I see manifestors make. Like, cause you're not the only one that I've ever coached on that. Like, you know, I'd say maybe like 25 to 50% of the people, right? It's like, oh, I want to do all this stuff. I'm like, that's cool. But like what lit you up was like that movie and like following what you want has just opened this other doors, and it's going to open more because like it's a fabulous movie and it's going to open up all this other
There are
stuff.
no words for how excited I am. Like, I'm so ready.
Right? Oh,
it's great because we're already like me and my coworker. We were like, I'm not gonna lie, our friendship almost ended over this situation at first. Yeah, because it was like super stressful, and we did not see eye to eye on a lot of things that we originally saw eye to eye on, and like it was a learning process. It was definitely a learning process. But now to have the final product and have it be so good, and like I'm not one to brag or anything, but like we literally have no experience with camera scripting, like the whole thing. And we made this movie that everyone, even people that I'm like acquaintances with, but the people I've shown it to, they're all like, wow, this is great. And I'm like, I know, but we're already starting to talk about our next idea.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, it's that flow thing where it's like, I got this movie back. It reinforced everything that I originally thought. And now I'm like inspired for more. What's next? And it's just, it's, oh my God.
It's so fun.
It's so fun. I'm ready, universe.
Yes, come on.
I'm ready.
And so I do want to circle back. So how does being open, like to have to be open and like share your assignments, like how has that impacted both your manifesting and just like life in general, how you're able to take that into the world?
It's definitely helped like my confidence of just kind of like owning who I am and what I want. And like, it's a joke in my family. I'm very indecisive because like, I'm so easy to please that I'd rather have other people be happy. I'll just go with the flow. You're like, like no problem. I don't care if we have pizza or Mexican. Like I'm happy. I'm eating. Like, you know? But being open with something so like personal as, you know, your train of thought and manifesting and what you do want out of life, because like everyone can see the comments and stuff, and I get so much power from reading everyone else's comments, and like it impacts me so much and makes me feel so good that I don't know, I want to share things now, because it's like we're all kind of swimming in this pool, and it's like a beautiful light filled pool, and who doesn't want to keep swimming in it? So so it's really just like helped me as a person really come into my own and like gain the confidence that I've needed to gain for all of these opportunities. And like I'm just so wholly myself now, and I've always been really sure of who I've been, but being able to like walk down the street with this kind of confidence of knowing who I am, like even more so than I did before. It's just that, it's like I just have all of these crazy experiences, especially being in New York City, where I'll like run into people I haven't seen in a year on the street, or like, you know, someone will reach out to me with an opportunity, or, you know, and it's just, I just don't think any of that would have happened if I hadn't allowed myself to be so open, because opening myself up to other people has allowed me to open up to the universe. And like, the universe is like thanking me for that. Like, thank you for sharing yourself with us here.
Yes.
And I'm like, thank you, universe. I will keep sharing if you keep sharing.
Right?
Let me help you.
Exactly. I love that. And it's so, so true. And thank you for sharing that, because that is like, it's huge. And the way you put it is amazing, because that's exactly what happens. Like, it's that being open and sharing. And it allows the universe to actually deliver, right?
Yeah. But I do, like, you got to start small, because like it's a little daunting at first. And I think something like, you know, posting the assignment, or like, oh, hey, I have a question. I didn't feel comfortable bringing it up on the call, but like, I have a question. And just, like taking those baby steps, like I think it just helps you like get more comfortable doing it. You know, practice makes perfect. And the more I reach out to people, or the more I share things, the more comfortable I feel doing it in the future. And so it won't take me as long to do it next time.
Yes. I love it. So good. Any final thoughts as we wrap up today? Those are very good thoughts.
I don't think so. Just like after having been in that, like, I don't even want to say like having been in the rut, but like, you know, struggling with my trust muscle, and now like kind of finding it again. I'm just like, everything is great. Everything is great. Like, I'm not playing that game again.
Yes. I love it. Amazing. So cool. Well, remind everyone where they can connect with you if they want your amazing PR skills.
Please connect with me. You can find me by my name. I'm super Googleable. So it's Rebekah. Z as in zebra, I, N as in Nancy, K as in Catherine, and my website is RebekahZinkMedia.com. But you can find, like, I have literally, I think the whole first page of Google, when you type in my name, is like me, like different profiles, my IMDb page, my website, like Instagram, Facebook.
I love it. Very cool. And you can help if somebody listening is a fiction author, they should definitely reach out to you.
Absolutely.
If they want better.
Yeah. Always looking for new clients. Always looking to help people.
Yeah. Always. I love it. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Yes, it was amazing. Thank you everyone for listening, and we'll be back next week with another episode.
Thank you for joining us on The More Money Show. To learn how to attract more money into your life, go to your favorite book retailer and order Cassie's book, Manifest $10,000.